April 20th, 1999. Life is wonderful. I am in love. My family is healthy. My daughter is making her own new life and is doing a great job of it. The refuge is nearly paying for itself. I don't owe any back taxes. Life just couldn't be sweeter. I'm moving back to the island, and Jamie is moving into my home here on Easy Street. 2 days ago, Nairobi Serval gave birth to a huge, lovely, snow-white kitten, much to our surprise, as we thought they had been fixed, and the saga continues. Jamie is going to raise him in between tiling her new home, painting, wallpapering, and all the other skills she has taught herself. I have been working for the past 3 weeks to get the island cleaned up of all of Don's old sheds, trash, and debris. I asked Alan Schreier to move in with me there, and he accepted. For the Never a Dull Moment section, Jamie and Daniel Capiro were taking Windstar the bobcat swimming in the lake on his leash, but this day they spotted 2 snakes swimming close by. Because a huge war breaks out between the Kill All Snakes troop and the Rehab All Living Things troop, experts were called in with books in hand to identify the swimming snakes. Once the determination of water moccasin was made, it was agreed that as the snakes were now entering Aurora the tiger's pen, they should be shot. Aurora was already stalking them. Jamie and Daniel Capiro had been yelling at each other excitedly during the fray because of their fear for their little loved one. A tour group had reached the tiger walkway and could hear the tigers splashing in the water, but Daniel, always the one to be in charge of damage control with guests, blocked their entry to the ramp and said the tigers weren't there. He didn't want a guest to film a poisonous snake biting one of our beloved tigers before the shotguns could be delivered to the beach. Suspicious, but deterred, the guests continued to the next cage, just as Kenny came flying up the ramp and, lowering the gun over the railing, shot into the tiger's pen twice. Bang! Bang! The cats roared, and Aurora ran for her life. Puzzled, the guest asked Dad what happened, and he said it was the only way he knew to break up a tiger fight. He said he was sure going to miss those cats. Little did we know that these offhand remarks would be taken, I am sure, out of context now. They were shooting snakes. Were you guys paying attention to that part? That's all that happened. They shot water moccasins that were headed into the tiger's enclosure in the lake. A year and a half later, Don is still causing problems. Because of his diminished capacity, I had put locks on the cat cages to keep him from getting in with the wrong cat and getting hurt. He couldn't tell any of them apart. He would loosen the latch and then swing the entire latch and lock out of the way, and then kick it back into place when he left, if he remembered to shut the door at all. Many times he told Daniel, "Don't tell Carole," and Daniel didn't. Squeaker the cougar has been quarantined in a platform cage since his surgery to remove the palmetto leaves and the bone. He was in one of the cages Don used to frequent when the leopards, Simba and Nyla, were in there. The latch was locked and looked fine, but from all of Don's shenanigans, it was compromised, and I got a call Saturday that the cougar was loose, and Jamie, Daniel, and 2 cabin guests were holed up in the gift shop. It was right after a fasting day, and Squeaker was determined to eat. We did manage to corral Squeaker back into his cage by making a human circle around him. John was the smallest in the group, and of course Squeaker ran at him in an attempt to get away. It might have been one of the braver things I've ever done to have leapt in front of John, raising my arms and trying to cover him and fill the gap I'd left. Emboldened by my actions, the team tightened the circle and we kept it moving back toward the cougar's cage, so that his only escape from us was back up and into his enclosure. Meanwhile, our tour guests, who had been ushered to safety, had a story to tell their children about the day they were at Wildlife on Easy Street and a cougar was walking amongst them. Terrifies me to think about that, given how safety conscious we are now. That wasn't in there, but that's how I feel today. Jamie had been tasked with getting all of the guests and volunteers to safety and was startled that one female volunteer seemed totally okay with the idea of a cougar being loose. I don't remember who she was or if she helped circle Squeaker back to his cage. And this photo was in the 1990s, and so you'll see that I've kind of cut the picture so that you can't see the whole thing because we don't show pictures of people touching cats after 2004.